Welcome back. This is our video 2. Welcome back, everybody. I don't remember noticing how many there were, but I think there's more than 10 of us. So let's see if everybody can come back in. Okay. All right, Leslie, I'm sorry. Leslie too, Leslie Interior, you got cut off. And thanks everyone for coming back in. Let me see if I could get my camera back on. Okay, yeah. So Leslie too. I'll have to call you Leslie too, because I have Leslie Cabuenas and Leslie 1. Although you spell your names differently. But go ahead, Leslie. And I'm proud of you having that good background that you have too. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Doc. During my 15 years in Kasiguran Central School, I helped my students win academic and non-academic contests, like science Olympiads, journalism, and other contests.
Okay.
I am also an active. I am also active in guiding my students in sports, most especially volleyball.
Okay, very good. Mention those. Make sure you mention those when you do your introduction at your interview. You'll be asked. They'll introduce themselves, and then after that, they'll ask you to tell about yourself. And that's why I always tell everyone: make a 2 to 3 minute elevator speech about yourself, and write it down, memorize it, and then practice it in front of the mirror, or in front of someone, and then that way it will be very smooth. You know. So you're doing really well. So yeah, you included that, and then maybe end it with like, why do you want to teach in the US?
Yes. Doc, I am also an active member of our district teachers chorale, because singing is also one of my talents.
I think they say choral, right? You say chorale. When you say chorale, that's offense. So you need to say choral. Choral. Yeah, instead of chorale. Yeah, chorale would be fence here. Yeah, so choral. Yeah. Okay, so that's good that you have all these extracurricular activities. The more that you say that, the better, because some schools may need for example, a volleyball coach. And a volleyball coach, you usually, if they ask you to coach, which is after school, they will give you extra money for that. They call them a stipend. And stipend will go depending on how rich the school is. Some stipend could go $2,000-$3,000 a year, which is an extra, $300 for you, which is an extra money that you can send to the Philippines. So yeah, I would encourage everyone that when you get here and you're being asked to coach, you may be afraid at first. You may want to say things like, can I be an assistant coach first? That way I'll know what to do. And then I can be the main coach after I've learned like at least a year. That's what I would say if you don't know, if you really don't know how to do that in the US. So that's what I would say, is that can I assist somebody first and get to know what it entails? Because an assistant is, they still give you a stipend for that. Anytime in the US, anytime, at least in Arkansas, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's in the US. If the school asks you to stay, and they really ask you to stay for an hour or more, like a meeting or anything, they're supposed to pay you for an hour. In the Philippines, they just stay and you don't get paid. Here, they have made it where the teachers have to be compensated. Like some schools, for example, they ask the teachers to be at the ball games and to be in the gate to collect the money or to help with the concession or whatever. Then the school has to pay them. But some schools I know in the area are not paying them. And of course, as a team player, if I were, I was one of those that never got paid, but I love doing it because I love seeing my students. I love seeing the parents and the community. I did not mind it at all. But then when I moved to another school and they said, Merlina, we get paid for that. And I'm like, what, really? I mean, I've been in this school for 15 years. We never got paid. And so anyway, so I didn't know if it was a new law or whatever, but just be a team player. If that school happened to not pay you, just be happy to be there and look at it like, well, this is my way of communicating with the public. because teaching is a profession where we really need to be seen in public. We need to be active in the community. And that is when I told you about the 5 core propositions of teaching. If you're taking notes, you might want to write this down. Your knowledge of content, your knowledge of students. Well, knowledge of students is number 1, actually. Knowledge of content is 2, and 3 is assessment, 4 is reflection, and 5 is collaboration. So that one is under collaboration. You're actually being, collaborate with the public, or at least, get to communicate with them. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing all your, well, looks like you have a lot of talent there, girl. Yeah. Coaching like Olympiad and all those other contests, those are also really good extra points for you, because not very many teachers would want to do that. I was a chess coach, and I did that for K-12. I had usually 70 something members, but I did collaborate with parents to help me, because there's no way I could just handle all that, especially with the little ones, from the kindergarten all the way to senior high. I had students. So I had actually had my senior high help me with the younger ones as well. I did it in cafeteria. So I was grouping them by colors, the white, the white folder, or the white, they're the beginners, and then all the way to black, like a karate belt. So I did that. And so you do things like that for extracurricular. That's always going to be good, because in the standards of teaching that you will be evaluated on, one of them is under collaboration. What are the things that you do in order to be a part of the learning community? Either collaborating with your peers, I have collaborated with people from another school. Like when I was teaching 4th grade, my other 4th grade teacher that's in another town that happened to be my friend, our kids were actually being pen pals to each other. So we have this notebook that we had someone that lived closer to her, so she would take it, weekly. And we actually partnered our kids, because it was a self-contained classroom. So I had my kids all day long, and she had her kids all day long. And then she kind of gave me some idea of the ability of the kids, the interest, and we paired them up like that according to their interests. And so like a special ed, for example, I paired them up with another special ed. And then, that way they could share their interests. And so on, a gifted are writing to the other gifted, in order for them to share, what they do in the gifted program or whatever. It was so powerful. I mean, the kids look forward to it. It's like application of authentic writing. We are actually using it to communicate, which we want the kids to do with the writing, right? And that's how I met my husband anyway. I was pen pal with him. I married my pen pal. back before all this social network and so on. Yeah, we were pen pals, and that's how we met. And so in 87 we got married. We've been married. This is our 35th year this year. So in July. Wow. Yeah, 35 years. So I was 19 years old when I came to the US, and now I'm 54. So yeah. So it's nice talking to you. And let me see, Mike, do you want to turn on your camera and your microphone and talk to us?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's me again.
Hi, Mike. I've talked to you before, Mike. Yes. Introduce everyone to who you are. I love that. I love those awards and diplomas in the back. Those are really good background there, Mike.
I'm currently on my work now. And last week, do you remember me? I introduced myself already.
Yes. But these are new folks, so you have to introduce yourself to them. These are new folks. These are new people that just got in our program. So yeah.
Okay, no problem.
You're in Qatar, right? You're in Qatar?
Yes, I'm in Qatar.
Yes.
Good morning, afternoon, good evening. The three different countries or wherever we are. I would like to introduce to myself. I'm Michael Roca. I am a secondary school teacher in the Philippines from 2006 to 2016, teaching computer education. To be exact, is the TLE, and also teaching Filipino subject for grades 7 and 8 before. And luckily, last 2016, I was hired here in Philippine School Doha, and I teach Filipino also in the Filipino community here. Unfortunately, like what I've said, I resigned last 2020 because of the pandemic. So instead of having the unpaid leave in the Philippines, I decided to look for another job here. And unfortunately, but thankful, I'm not fortunate in looking for a job, was given a chance to explore different works. Like I work in a construction, I work as a safety officer, I work as an HR assistant, and from August 2021, 2021 up to March 2022, I was given a chance to teach in Zenith Heights Academy here, an international school, elementary, teaching ICT or IT for grades 1 to grade 6. And now I'm currently working as a training coordinator, a junior training coordinator in one of the training school here in Qatar. So like what I've said last time, doctor told me I am a job of all trades. Like what I've told you, I know I coach badminton, I played badminton, I coach volleyball, I'm a dance choreographer. I'm very active also in scouting, and also when I was in college, and also even when I'm at the public school there, I'm very active in different activities in the school, especially in coaching.
That's good. You're a jack of all trades and master of everything, sounds like.
And
yeah.
Currently, while I'm here working, even though I am not here now in the school, or I'm not working in school anymore, but I really miss teaching, the work, everything. And hopefully soon, it may be not today, tomorrow, or next month, or next year, I'm still positive that time will come in God's perfect time, because I'm still preparing myself. Like what I've said, I'm still finishing my master's degree, and hopefully, inshallah, I can finish, or I will finish it, and then I will start another career in teaching, inshallah again.
Yeah, try to stay in education though, because a lot of the visa sponsors will not sponsor you unless you're teaching the current year.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
so you need to make sure you look for a job that's in the teaching field while you are looking for a job here in the US, because that might be hurting for you, to find a visa sponsor. Yeah.
Yes, I will try. I'm still I'm still positive that maybe tomorrow, company or one school or any school in Qatar or the Philippines again, or wherever country, whatever God's plan.
Yeah, it happened. That's right. That's right. Well, thank you for introducing yourself. And it sounds like you are going to be an asset to any school because of all the different things that you know and have experienced. But if you get an interview, try to just stick with your experience in education. Like, do not put years where you're not in education, because that's not good, because they might think, well, education had changed. He might not know what's going on now, whatever. So just say, I have a short stint on, doing this, and this. So I have this knowledge, but you don't have to focus on it. Yeah, but focus on the education part and all the leadership things that you do. Yeah, that's what I would recommend. Just because I was listening to it from an administrator's mind, that I'm thinking, okay, what would they be thinking if they hear that? I mean, it's a good thing, but especially the technology part, but kind of avoid saying that you have a gap. You're not lying. They will see the dates, in the resume, but you don't have to include that in your introduction. So, I mean, at least if it were me, that's what I would do. But of course, you do your thing. So, okay. All right. Well, welcome again. We got Leslie. We got, okay, Crystal. Crystal's new. Crystal, welcome. Crystal, did you get an interview? Did you get an interview from Palestine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am Marie. Actually, ma'am, I have not yet Sir Gestes, sir, ma'am.
Yes, John Estes. That's the
Yes.
superintendent.
Yes. He messaged me today, right now, ma'am, that he will schedule the interview.
Good. He was mentioning you in our conversation. He called me, and so I said, so he said, Merlina, I don't have a way to contact her. Is that one of you? You did not have some kind of contact info on your resume?
Yes, ma'am.
Make sure
Actually,
your email and your phone number are very important in your resume.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am Maria messaged me in FB Messenger yesterday.
Okay,
I just read it this day, and then she told me that Sir John Estes is asking for my email, and
Okay.
then I've emailed him, and he messaged me right now, ma'am, that he will schedule me for an interview.
That's a good place to work. He's a really nice guy. He goes above and beyond. And those that knew Annabelle, that's Annabelle's boss, and he's a guy that that's a small place. That's like 15 minutes from Maria, but they didn't have a place for her to like rent, and he had an extra cabin, like a hunting cabin that he had, and he had Maria. I mean, he had Annabelle stay there. And and at first I think she was rent free. She was just paying the utilities with water and electricity. But then when her family came with her 2 kids and and her husband, then they start paying rent, which is still a very good deal, for them. But so they're like family. In fact, he kind of claims them, Annabelle's family and Maria, as like his 2 kids, his 2 extra kids. But I think he's in his 40s. I think he's younger than me. So I do not know. I've not really met him in person, but I've talked to him on the phone, and I've emailed several times with him. So I don't even know how he looks like. I told Maria I have a party this weekend, this Sunday, for my mom's 80th birthday, and I told Maria and I told him that, hey, I wish you can come so I can meet you, and you can eat some lechon and other Filipino foods, But I want to wish you the best. And did you get the tips for interview from me? There's a preparing for an interview.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you don't mind to email me and ask me for that,
yes,
so that I can send you the link.
I'm very much lucky that Sir John Estes like to interview me, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. You were the first name that he mentioned. There are 2 of you that he mentioned. I think one was a male, but let me make sure that I have made a note here that you need the tips for interview. Whenever I sent you a response, like the first time you emailed me, and I put down here that please send me all these things, on the bottom of it there is a link to interview tips. So look at those links on the bottom, and one of them, 2 of them are like, one of them is a preparing for interview PowerPoint, and then the other one is actually just a bunch of questions and how to answer them. So you may want to look at that again. It should be my first email to you, is that there's a long email and there's a list. Go look at the bottom of it. If you don't see it, then email me and ask me. Yeah. And so the first thing he's going to ask you is, he's going to introduce himself, and he's going to ask you, tell me about yourself. And so how would you answer that? I'm going to put you in a spot here.
Yes, ma'am. Good day. It's my pleasure to introduce myself. My name is Crystal Ann Dumaging Villan, born and raised here in the Philippines. The initial of my name is KADV, which also describes me as a person and as a teacher. This stands for K, knowledge, knowledgeable. I have the mastery of the subject matter. A, accountable. D, dedicated. And B, values oriented. As what I have mentioned, K, knowledgeable, I have the mastery of the subject matter. A, accountable, I always put in my mind that I am accountable for my students' progress and achievement. D, dedicated, I am very much dedicated with my work, and I really love this profession. And V, values oriented, I have the Filipino values that I want to share to the students in the US. I graduated with a degree Bachelor of Elementary Education at Philippine Normal University in 2006 and completed academic requirements in Master of Arts in Education, major in Educational Administration. And also I have 31 units in Master of Arts in Education, major in mathematics, and just a thesis away to finish it.
Oh, good job. Hey, instead of using units, you need to say hours. They don't say
Hours.
units here. They say 31 hours. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I also finished an online short course on problem-solving maps in Theory of Constraints in Florida, USA in 2018. I am in a teaching field and a licensed professional teacher here in the Philippines for almost 16 years. I've taught nursery, kinder, prep, and in 2007, I was transferred in a public school in Manila. I taught second grade, third grade, and fifth grade, all subjects. I am also the trainer in different mathematics contests and chess competitions of our school. My eagerness and passion to teaching is the best thing that I have. That's why in 2014, I was promoted as a master teacher in mathematics.
Okay. Very good. Very good. You include enough information that will tell him about, from your education to your interest to your leadership skills, which is good. And you might want to end up with why you wanted to teach here. That might be a good wrap up for your introduction.
I really love to teach in the US for my professional growth and development. I believe that teaching is a continuous learning process, and teaching in the US will give me a lot of learnings and experience, which will make me a more efficient and effective teacher.
Okay, very good. Very good. I like it. Good, great answer. Can't improve it. So yeah, just practice that and make sure you say with a degree in, and then with a degree in bachelor or whatever. Okay. And yeah, let me see. When you say something about masters and how many hours, most of the master's degree here, they don't really have thesis. The only thesis here is usually on the doctorate program. So you might want to say something about in master's degree here, we do have thesis and I don't have that, whatever, because when we hear the word thesis in America, we are thinking doctorate degree. Like I have to defend my thesis when I got my doctorate. Yeah. So yeah, that's something that's a little different that, you could explain. Yeah. So also if you want to include some of your professional development training that had impacted you, specific things that had impacted you, especially when it comes to education or methodologies or any strategies that you really are using in your classroom, you might want to include that, especially when it comes to cooperative learning groups or included professional learning community. That's a really big one here. For elementary, you may want to talk about your phonics. Do you know a lot about phonics? In Arkansas, for example, our K3 are really heavy on phonics. There's a science of reading, they call it. You might want to Google science of reading in quotation mark. And then when you put Arkansas on it, you will see Arkansas RISE, RISE, that talks about the training that K3 teachers have to go through. I think maybe it's even higher than that, not just K3. And in teaching you how to teach students how to read and comprehend. So that is a big one here that the new initiative that our Arkansas Department of Education is doing. And I think a bunch of other states are also doing similar because they noticed that the reading comprehension and the reading abilities of students are really lower than compared to the other countries in the world. Like we should be in the top 5 or whatever, but we're not. So we're like in the, I don't know what, I know that's like past the 10, which is not a good one for America. Our country is supposed to be a leader here, and we're not in education. Singapore, for example, is beating America pretty badly. And so anyway, so yeah, thank you so much for your introduction there. And I want to wish you the best on the interview, okay? And if you feel like you're ready and you look at the tips and you're ready to practice with me, I don't mind. I did that with Leslie, the other Leslie one. And if you want to do that, that might help you with your confidence on how to answer it. And I could give you some little hint and tips and corrections or whatever that you might want to add. So feel free to do that. I'm usually asleep. I usually go to bed about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning here. So that will be 3 p.m. there to 4 p.m. there. I would be sleeping already on. And then I wake up around this time, about 8 o'clock, about, past about 9 p.m. there in your place. So so just kind of look at that window that I might be sleeping. And then other than that, because I'm retired, I'm actually having a flexible schedule, and I'm done with all my contracts to help schools. I'm actually done with all of them. So now I'm pretty flexible all the time. I'm actually gardening. I love to garden. So I have a big garden. And so I have like, oh my gosh, 40 plus tomatoes. I'm looking forward to that, plus all the other vegetables here. So that's the thing in Arkansas being parang provincia ba. So we can actually do things like that. And I love that, like organic vegetables. Yeah. So bringing me back to my roots, right? Okay, so Maria Jamaica, you have a Jamaica number 2 is what I call you because there's a first Jamaica here without the Maria. So Jamaica, you want to talk to us, please?
Hello, ma'am.
Hey. Yeah, so Jamaica, did you have any job offer or interview?
Yeah, I received already my job offer, ma'am, in Nebraska.
Yes.
It's my first time attending this Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I remember that. But are you the one that's been communicating with Maria or no?
No, ma'am.
No, so the other Jamaica. See, both of Jamaicas that are.
Yeah, yes. I'm Maria.
Huh?
You're calling me Maria through
emails.
But
my friend Maria that one day had actually joined our meeting in person when she was here with me. Maria Incorporado, that's a teacher here from the Philippines and came here.
Oh.
Have you been communicating with my Maria Incorporado? No, you have not been, right? So the other Jamaica 1 has been communicating with her, and she's the one that's been offered a job in the same school as Maria. But I think she's also she has more than one offer. And she has an offer in another state. And so I keep asking her, which one are you taking? You know, are you taking the Arkansas job or somewhere else? You know, sometimes, you know, you have to compare and you ask me, well, which one is better? I do not know which one is better because all that I know is teaching in Arkansas. I'll be biased. When I answer, I'll be biased to Arkansas because that's what I know. But the only thing is that if you teach like in other, for example, somebody was asking about Massachusetts. Boston, for example, is a capital, and that's where Harvard is. And that's a big city. And it's so cold though. That's the only thing is the northeastern part, it is so cold. So if you don't like cold, you might want to pick Arkansas. Arkansas has a very mild winter. So our winter here, we do not ever have winter where we bury a car. We don't have that kind of winter. We have a winter that may be going up to your knee. Winter. I think the worst winter that I remembered, it did not even reach my hip. So it's not going to be very deep. Usually it's just like this little baby, snow on the ground. And we're such a chicken that schools are such chickens that they would close the school even for just like a little bitty snow. The kids are like looking outside, like, oh, it's snowing. Are we going to get out of school? So that's why those are some things that you may want to consider, not just this, the size of the school, for example. To me, I'm biased to smaller. I've taught both smaller and bigger schools. I'm actually liking the small school because you get to know the kids really well. Your students in the classroom is maybe 14, 15, 16 compared to 30 something. I think the limit is 30. I want to say 30 is the highest number you can get. And if you work in a bigger school, you have the limit. You have the 30. It's like twice the load of the, my sister, for example, she's still teaching now. She's got 3 more years, but she was in a bigger school. And she was English teacher, 6th grade, and she had 30 per load. And she was given that the limit of your load is 150. So she had five sections of 30 each, 150 students that she would have to write to check an essay. It's times 150. And now she moved to another school, and this school has 4-day school. So she only has to go to school Monday through Thursday. She's off on Friday, but they go like an extra hour each day. And she loves it. And she teaches math, and she only has 14 kids. So think about the work that so it's really, it just depends on what you are into. Like someone that's really a big city girl or boy or, male that really into city, then you need to research what that community is and seeing if that is a urban, the thing with urban is that would be higher rent, like in Little Rock, the rent here might be more than, if we get cut off again, we'll do one more time. But anyway, if we'll come back in one more time. But anyway, so in Little Rock, for example, their rent is $1,300, $1,400, $1,400, $1,500 a month for the apartment. So if you teach there, you're gonna be making more money, but your apartment is twice as much, because around here in the area is smaller one, $500, $600 a month. And if you have a roommate, that's $300 down to $300 a month. So it's really relative, I guess, you know, on what you choose. So those are some consideration that you might want to look into. Is if you're into like a lot of fun and things like that, then you might want to live in a big city. But where you are around in the area, like that hiring a lot in Arkansas, you're only an hour from the capital. So if you want to have fun and get together, you only have an hour to drive and you're there. So that's what I always think. I might live 3 hours. I live 3 hours from the capital. So when I go to the capital, which is like compared to like in Cebu City equivalent, mine is in Little Rock, I have to drive 3 hours. I drive 3 hours to every direction of the big city. I'm 3 hours from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm 3 hours from Springfield, Missouri. So those are some bigger cities that I could drive to. But it's okay. I have a car. I can just drive there if I want to. But I'm a more of a, although I was raised in Cebu City, I really like the country better. I was in car when I was young, you know, so I enjoy that. And so I don't mind living here. Although my sisters, when they come here, like my sister in Australia, she's a big city girl. She said, how can you live here? It's so quiet here. So you might want to get to know yourself and see what kind of environment that you prefer, because that's going to be leading to your happiness. Because if you're really a city girl and you cannot stay in the country, the province, do not get a job in the rural area, because then you'll be miserable. You'll be miserable. You'll be looking for, oh my God, what fun do I have? Well, you would be so tired Monday to Friday anyway, working, that you don't really have time. So the weekend is when you have fun or whatever. So as long as you have access to that, you're good, right? Yeah. Okay. So thank you for coming back in and attending. So tell everyone about what the class again, or what subject that you teach. You say you're English?
Sorry, ma'am.
What is your concentration area? What is your grade level and subject?
Ma'am, I graduated with a degree of bachelor's in secondary education, major in English. However, I am hired as a...
Yeah, you're English. Okay. Yeah. And so you are, the job offer that was offered to you, did they give you, or did they already get it approved by the board?
Yes, ma'am, but I am still waiting for the signed contract.
Okay. But I think if you don't have to have a signed contract, if they can just type you something about a job offer that you have been hired by the board at this certain meeting, that would be good enough for your visa sponsor. Because a lot of the school, yeah.
Actually, ma'am, the principal is communicating already with the visa sponsor that I have.
Good. Because that is one of the hardest thing to do, is find a visa sponsor. So if your principal is already doing that, then that principal is on the ball. So yeah, that's a good place to work. You got a principal that's really doing it.
I am very lucky.
Yeah, you good job. Yeah, because I remember you one of the newer ones too.
I was the one who was sharing about my disappointment, the feeling that I was so down because I was rejected by the Christian school thing.
I remember that, yeah.
And then I told you, I always do research. I always do apply through Indeed, School Spring, and other stuff. And then I had, I have 3 interviews upcoming. That's what I said last time. And then the first interview that I had was the Nebraska, and then I was hired right away. So I was so lucky.
So you must have answered. No, I don't think it's luck. I think it's a skill. I think you must have answered really well. So what was the difference?
Actually, there were, the questions were not that tough. It's not, yes, ma'am. It's not about classroom management. It's more on the skill, I think. And then and then the principal is, ma'am, it's not me who is applying, but I think the principal is applying.
You know why? Because you must have sold yourself through your resume. So you must have a
Yes,
good,
I
strong
think,
resume. Yeah. A
yes,
lot of
ma'am, I
times
think
as a former, as a former assistant principal, that's what we look for. When we see someone that's really strong on paper and we like that person also, then we push for them, you know. So that's a good thing for you, that you already sold yourself to them through your paperwork. So yeah, it's a good job. Congratulations. Yeah, so you keep us updated, although you might be hired outside of Arkansas, but kind of keep us in touch with us so that your knowledge when you are here are going to be helping people that are still in the Philippines. Okay, so you're
yes,
always welcome.
I want to talk to Miss, I think it's Miss Leslie Interior, because I am from Bicol region also. And I think Miss Leslie is from Sorsogon. It's in the Bicol region also. So Miss Leslie, you can add me on Messenger, and then I can give you some of my links, of the links that I have here. And then if I know some school districts who are hiring also, I can help you with that.
Yes. Well, thank you for offering that. By the way, Leslie, if you're in math, math and science right now are very, lots of people are looking. So a bunch of our science and math people are offered 2 or 3 offers, you know, jobs. So Leslie, if you're not out there, you need to put yourself out there because there is a shortage of your area. Okay. So yeah, thank you for offering that. So that helps a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Who's next? Who has not talked to us? Because we are going to be about to go to the next one possibly. So that was Jamaica. Who else has not talked to us? Let me look. Annie, did you ever? Yeah, you got it figured out. Okay. So how about Emmanuel? We talked to Emmanuel from Qatar, or was it Mike? I got confused now. Okay, that was Mike. Okay, Emmanuel, talk to us, please.
Hello, good evening and good morning to you there, ma'am.
Good morning.
Yes, I am Emmanuel Sanchez, a graduate of Bachelor in Secondary Education, major in English.
English, okay.
And also I've been teaching for 15 years, teaching purely English, 5 years in private school and 10 years for a private, 5 years for private school and 10 years in public. Then I am currently teaching now as a senior high school teacher, the advisor of 11th grade, the humanities and social sciences.
Okay.
And also, yeah, I am also a coach of the different area, especially for campus journalism, and an English coordinator for 5 years in public school, and a class advisor of a school paper publication here in our school. And I was also hired before, last 2018, as an English for second language teacher, particularly in Hanoi, Vietnam,
Okay.
for six months, since 6 months only is the allowed leave in public school.
Okay.
And then I also finished my master's degree, especially Master of Arts in English.
Okay. Very good,
Then,
because yeah, very good that you have lots of other experiences. The ESL, you know,
yes,
component would be good. You don't have to say anything about the 6-month leave thing, whatever. That's just more questions that will come
yeah,
in your
but I
head.
did not have a ITSA certificate, ma'am, since Vietnam before they only accepted as long as you're an English teacher or a
Yeah.
major in English written in your transcript of records.
Okay. Okay. So now I think a bunch of them now you have to go to some online ESL training or some kind of certification. I did the international certification from ITTT, I think 3 T's. And yeah, so I could actually teach all over the world on ESL. Yeah, I thought about teaching in China, but they offer like $25 an hour, and I thought, well, I charge $100 an hour when I work, so no, that's not enough. so yeah.
Yeah, I am also a batchmate of Annalisa, ma'am.
Oh, you
Yeah,
are? Okay.
I am the
She was
batchmate
talking
of
about you.
Annalisa.
Annalisa is, and for everyone else, Annalisa is here, and she's one of the schools that I'm working
And
with.
she's the one, she's the one sending me your email and your messenger to me.
Yeah,
So I
thank you for
contacted
joining
you
in. I'm
long
so
before.
glad. English also is another one that people are looking for. The only thing with that is being English teacher and Filipino. it seems like some schools are not very open-minded about that. They might think, well, how do they teach the English, the students or whatever. But I had to